Hi mathematicians, in this video we're going to determine if a table is linear or nonlinear. So a table is linear if it has a constant rate of change. So we need to find the change in the x, then the change in the y, and divide the change in the y by the change in the x. Let's do a few examples. Does the table represent a linear relationship? So here we have our table, and on top we have our x, and on the bottom we have our y. So let's find our change in our x. Between 0 to 1, our change is plus 1. 0 plus 1 is 1. Alternatively, 1 minus 0 is positive 1. Our change between 1 and 2 is plus 1. Between 2 and 3 is a positive 1, and between 3 and 4 is also positive 1. Now let's find our change in y. Between 7 and 9, the change is plus 2. 9 minus 7 was 2. Between 9 and 11 is also plus 2. 9 plus 2 is 11. 11 to 13 plus 2, and between 13 and 15 is plus 2. So we found our change in y. Now we're going to take our change in y and divide by our change in x. So for this first one, we have 2 divided by 1, and that gives us 2. And notice for our next pair, we're going to have the same answer. 2 divided 1 is 2. 2 divided 1 is 2, and 2 divided 1 is 2. So here, because all of our rates of change are the same, we can say it has a constant rate of change, and this table is linear. The table is linear because it has a constant rate of change. Or you could say because the rate of change is the same. Let's look at another example. Determine whether f of x is linear or nonlinear. Explain your answer. Non means not. So nonlinear means that it is not linear. So we want to see, is it linear or nonlinear? Linear or not linear? Here our x's are in a column instead of in a row. So let's find our change in our x. Between 1 and 3, 1 plus 2 gives me 3. Between 3 and 5 is also plus 2. Between 5 to 7 is also plus 2. Let's find the change in y. To get from 10 to 7, I have to subtract 3. From 7 to 1, I need to subtract 6. Or I can also get the negative 6 by doing 1 minus 7 gives me negative 6. And to get from 1 to negative 2, I need to subtract 3. So now let me divide my change in y by my change in x. In this first pair, my change in y is negative 3 and my change in x is 2. If I divide this, I get negative 1.5. So that's for this first pair. In my second pair, I have negative 6 divided by positive 2. I get negative 3. That's for this second pair. I can already see that my rate of change is not the same. So I can say f of x, remember that's the name of this function, is nonlinear because the rate of change is not the same. So make sure you determine your change in your x and your change in y, and if you get different numbers, then the function is nonlinear. If you get all the same numbers, then you have a constant rate of change and the table is linear. This table would make a line while this one would not.